Hey guys, welcome to Monday reading sprints. Let me know if you guys can all hear me because I haven't done this in like a year and a half. So I'm relearning the technology and it'll take me a little bit. Plus, the comments on this one thing are a little delayed. I can see it in one spot. Louise can hear me, Lindsay can hear me, so I'm good there. I just got to figure out why my comments aren't showing in this one spot. Maybe they're just slightly delayed. Okay, we'll just go with they're slightly delayed. So, welcome. We have some Canadians, which is always exciting because I feel like so often there's so many Americans in the booktube world here. So, welcome to my American friends as well. But sometimes it's pretty exciting when you see people from your own country. Okay, I don't even know. There are lots of people here. Where do I start? Well, we've got Louise, who was on my book club on Patreon on the weekend. Ashley, Kathleen, that is the perfect name for the You've Got Mail Readathon weekend. So that's pretty cool. Lindsay, she was also on my Patreon book club this weekend. Anne, you are in Portland right now, I think, right? It's going to take me too long if I go through everybody. Hello, Penny. And Molly. Carmen, this is your first one. Welcome. That's fun. This is my first time actually. Oh, I forgot. I did reading sprints with Angie Henderson back in March, but she was like in control and I was just sitting there. So that was a little easier. This is the first time I've hosted reading sprints myself. So Kathleen, this is your first live for this channel. I think I've only done it once. I did a TBR where people helped me in the comments pick my TBR back in, I think that was like, no, it was like April of last year. So it's been a while. Okay, now I gotta see if I can catch up here. Okay, well, let's start out. Where are you guys from? We've got Wisconsin. So I know we have some Canadians from various places. Oh, okay, so not exactly Portland, but I saw the Portland airplane photo in your stories. That's whatever. I've only been to the Portland airports. That's as much as I've seen. We've got Utah, Mississippi. Yes, Louise is in Ottawa. Oh, wow, we jumped here. North Carolina. I should just have a map. That'd be kind of fun to go through and like mark where everybody is. Louisiana, Georgia, Colorado. I almost went to Colorado. I was supposed to go last week or next week. I don't know the dates. But we ended up not. So that's too bad. I would like to see Colorado. Another Wisconsin, Ontario. We've got a few people from Ontario. That's cool. Okay, I can't go through everybody. Maine, lots of Wisconsin. That's cool. So I'm up in Saskatchewan, in the middle of the Canadian prairies. Yeah, so welcome here. My thought was, we talked a little bit on my Patreon book club this last weekend about being in reading slumps, because I've definitely been feeling that. So I was hoping throughout this reading sprint time, however long this ends up being, we could give each other ideas on how to get out of reading slumps, books for reading slumps. We'll get into the details soon. But first of all, I would like to know, what are you guys reading tonight? While you are typing, I will show you. I am working on one of my few, I have a couple books here for the You've Got Mail Readathon, but the one I'm going to be reading tonight is Skating Shoes. This one I am only 38 pages into, so I'm not very far yet, but it's a cute little story so far. This is one of the series, the shoe books, that Kathleen Kelly recommends in You've Got Mail. So I'm excited to read it. I read one of the shoe books, possibly Dancing Shoes, the one with like three sisters. I think it might be Dancing Shoes. Okay. Oh, wait, we've got Russia, so that's a little bit farther. Cool. Mayfair Bookshop, I've never heard of that one. The Last Bookshop in London. Oh, I hope you enjoy that one. Walden by Henry David. Oh, you guys are, Buddy, you're reading that book. I would be so curious to hear your thoughts, because that is one that I've been curious about. I like the idea behind, because it's like a good girl, I don't know if it's intentionally or unintentionally, goes to the school of evil, right? And then the bad girl goes to the other school. Sounds like a interesting, like, middle grade book. Grapes of Wrath. Wow, impressive. Oh, we've got another Wisconsin person. Everblaze. So that's the Keeper of the Lost Cities series. That's a lot of fun. The audiobooks are really good. Rereading Beartown and the Whispered Word. I feel like I'm one of the few people that DNF'd Beartown. Tia is reading Killers of a Certain Age. Tia, did you already announce what book you're reading, which Stephen King book you're reading for October? I forgot to look, so I need to find out yet. The Southern Side of Paradise, The Lost Girls of Willowbrook. I have that one requested from the library. Amulet number 4. Flannery O'Connor, Skating Shoes. Oh, yes. Did you like Skating Shoes? Thursday Murder Club. Oh, good. I'm glad you're getting into that one, Lindsay. Oh, Erica has a question here. I'm going to see if I can star that. Maybe we'll come back to that in a little bit. Okay, this is Mayfair Bookshop. Historical fiction loosely based on Nancy Mitford time in London. Wow. Lots of different books here. You Don't Know Me. That one is the one by Susan May Warren. That one's fun. Ooh, good job. I wanted to do Betsy Tacy for the readathon, but I cannot get my hands on a copy of anything, so I'm trying. Maybe for like October, maybe I'll just continue reading. Oh, Ballet Shoes. See, now maybe it's Ballet Shoes I read. There's Dancing Shoes and Ballet Shoes, and I can't think of which one's which. Misery. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to read. Oh, I just filmed my October TBR today too, and so I missed this one. I'm going to try to join in with Tia and her Stephen King readathon for October, because I've never read anything by him, and I feel like maybe that's what a person should do as a reader, try a Stephen King, but we'll see. Iron Lake. Okay, I've never read any William Kent Kruger, but I've been curious. Okay, skating shoes. Yeah, that's kind of what I get so far. It's like there's the main character seems interesting so far. She's got some issues to work through, more like physical ones at this point, but I'm not very far yet. Last bookshelf. Okay, I can't talk. The Last Bookshelf in London. I'm glad you enjoyed that one. This was the You Don't Know Me. I hope you really enjoyed that one. Hey, Cami. Okay. So it sounds like you guys got some good books. Some of you are joining in with the readathon. I feel like I didn't really do much for the You've Got Mail readathon until like maybe this last week. I still haven't even watched the movie. I meant to, and then I didn't. So that's going to happen in the next couple days here. Okay. If you guys have any other questions that you want me to tackle as we go, Erica already asked how I choose my TBR and what order I read them. So I'm going to tackle that at some point yet. And I got a couple people on my Instagram stories left a couple questions that I will also pull up. I'm going to pull that up there so that's ready. Yeah, and we'll try to answer those, and then we'll talk about some reading slump stuff yet. Lion. Oh, yes, I think I've heard of that one. Hey, Amy. Yes, Tia. Okay, did you end up watching it with your kids? Was I right in just saying there was that one scene that I skipped through with my daughter? I'm pretty sure there's just that one scene that I like when she's talking to her employees that I'm like, skip ahead like a minute or two. Oh, fun. Maybe I'll do that after this. Yeah, I bought the movie from Google, YouTube, whatever. And since I watch it once a year, I feel like it's worth it. Oh, I'm so jealous you're reading that book. I have to find book 1 first. And then I want to start that series for sure. Okay, maybe what I'll do here is I will okay. Stephen King. Yeah, this is my I'm not necessarily going to complete the book. We'll see. Just going to try it. Oh man, yeah, I can't remember if I actually watched the movie last year or was it 2 years ago already. I try to do it once a year, but I don't remember now. Yeah, so I watch it around Canadian Thanksgiving, which for us is in exactly 2 weeks from now, I guess. 2 weeks from today. Okay, so I'm going to answer Erica's question here, and then maybe we will try to jump into our first reading sprint. So her question was, how do you choose your TBR and what order do you read them? Well, it depends. I feel like this year I have a couple readathons I'm joining in on. First one is my Read Your Bookshelf readathon, so it's different prompts every month. Same with Kayla has from Books and Lala. She has the Buzzwordathon. So I'm doing those. So I have like one book a month from each of those that I want to read. This year I'm also trying to read an Agatha Christie each month. And in the last few months, I've been picking a book out of my jar is right here, actually. My jar, I have like some of my Patreon subscribers have given me book suggestions. So I pick one book a month out of here as well. So those are the ones that I like have to read. And then I just go through and start pulling books that seem interesting to me. And sometimes the last couple of months, I tried to keep it small. I tried to just choose a couple. My October video is coming out tomorrow, my October TBR. I didn't stay small. They're sitting beside me here. There's a lot of books. I do not force myself to read them all. I see it more as like just books that I'm interested in, books to pull from. So I don't really go in any particular order. I like mood read within my TBR. And I don't, even if I get to don't get to like one of the 4 books that I say I have to read each month, I don't kill myself over that. I just try to have fun with it. Like, that's what reading is for me. It's fun. So I just pull out a bunch of books that I'm kind of in the mood for. Sometimes I'll join in on other people's readathons as well. Like October, I'm going to try to read a couple for Victober. Every September, around the end of September, I'm reminded about the 30 books in 30 days and wish I would have joined in on that. Yeah, so I don't read them in any particular order, just however I feel like reading them. And I just choose books I'm interested in. And sometimes I'll have a buddy read. I kind of tend to stay away from buddy reads because it feels like in school when teachers told me I had to read a book, then my mind just instantly didn't like it. And so I feel like I tend to go that way if I do a buddy read as well. So I generally just don't do buddy reads. I have had some exceptions, but for the most part, I just kind of want to read what I want to read. And then lately I've been trying to read one book at a time. It hasn't always worked out, but I do find that has helped me enjoy my reading more. So I'm curious though, if you guys want to tell me how you guys, if you choose a TBR, how do you choose it? And is it like you have to read all those books? I know some people, they have their entire like physical TBR and they have to read it in the order that it is. And that would just not work for me. I think I would just boycott reading, and that would kind of defeat the whole purpose. Okay, so let's see here. Where was I? You watch You've Got Mail once a month. That's impressive. I only watch like a couple movies a year, so yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that. No, I have never watched The Shop Around the Corner. I know about it, but I don't know when I only read, or see, I don't even know how you read movies. I don't even know how I would add in a black and white movie into the few that I watch each year. Like, I don't know if I could do that. Maybe. I know some people have really recommended it, so maybe I should try it. Lindsay, yes, I do see it as a pile of possibilities. I still call it a TBR because they are books I would like to read, but whatever. Is it already cold here? Not today. Today was like, we got to 22 degrees Celsius, so I think that's like 73-ish Fahrenheit. No, it's usually quite a bit colder here by now, but September can be up and down. Journey through the Bible readathon next month. Oh yeah, I saw you were doing that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. He has so many books. I don't even know what he all has. So that's why I was like, well, Tia's going to do a readathon or a book club. Like, then I don't even have to make a decision. Then I'll just try to get my hands on the book that she is doing. I think, is the Green Mile movie the same as the book? Because I watched the movie once forever ago. Kim's a mood reader. Yeah, I like choosing a TBR, but then I just mood read within it. So I don't know if that really counts as a TBR. Yeah, TBR is a suggestion. Yeah, suggested TBR. I like that. Wow, Amy, you've been reading one book a month or one book at a time. That's impressive because you usually have like 13 going at a time, which I do enjoy your videos when you're like, I'm reading a little bit of this and I'm reading a little bit of this. I like that as a viewer. I'm realizing I don't like that as a reader. So that's a good idea. That would make folding laundry better. Sometimes I just pull up BookTube or listen to a podcast when I'm doing laundry, but it makes it a little easier. Yeah, I'm also dependent on the library holds. I think I have like 29 books at the library right now to pick up, so I need to get there soon. They're not all for me though. Some are for my kids, some are picture books, some are for our homeschool. But that is the thing too. Sometimes I feel like I really, really want to read this book, so I request it from the library. But by the time it comes in, I'm no longer that interested. Okay, so the Green Mile movie is based off of the book, but the book is better. Obviously, the book is always better, with almost without exception. There might be a few exceptions, but maybe I'll have to read that book sometime. I buy about 4 or 5 books for the next month and read those within the month. Good for you. I often don't read books the month that I buy them, or even within a few months. There's a book meme about book buying and how always buying more books. Meanwhile, your like old books are sitting there. I like having a stack of books. There's my like TBR shelf and more books. I can't do this backwards. More books I haven't read and more books I haven't read. Especially when COVID hit, I was like, well, I'm prepared. I'm good to go for a long time. I've got lots of books. Okay, so I'm not the only one watching BookTube while folding laundry. That's good. Oops. I completely agree with this. They are two hobbies that I very much enjoy, but buying books is completely different than reading books. I very much like both of them, which works out well because if I liked buying books but not reading them, that might get a little bit excessive. And I have no problem getting rid of books either. Like, after I've read it, if I didn't enjoy it, if I won't reread it, if it's not something I will recommend, I will get rid of it. I'm good with that. Crystal, that's great. Okay, I think that I would like to start some reading sprints. This is a very awkward time, but oh well. I'm going to do 15 minutes, I think, because I have I don't really have ADHD, but I do when it comes to this kind of thing. I don't think I can just sit here for 30 minutes and read. So we'll just do 15 minutes. So that will bring us to a very awkward time. No, I need to edit this, not. Okay, 15 minutes from now, let's go. Okay, well, we'll go 17 minutes. How about that? Just to round things up. Let's read from now and end at whatever your time is, 10 minutes after your hour. So I'm in the middle of the chapter right now, actually. I'm almost always in the middle of a chapter. In the middle of chapter 3 in Skating Shoes. So I will see you guys back here in a few minutes. Okay. Of course, I'm once again just like started a chapter. I made it to page 66 though. This is a really sweet book so far. I'm enjoying it. I think we had some more people join in right as we were going into the reading sprints here. Oh, back to the TBR topic here. I find if I don't have a TBR and just mood read, I tend to not pick up books as quickly, which seems kind of backwards. I mean, they're on my shelf, but somehow if I stack them in a separate spot, I get through them quicker. I won't even try to understand it. I can understand this, Lindsay. I like bookshelves with lots of books, so I definitely keep my favorite books. Oh, now it's skipped again. Oh, that's interesting. They released it a few chapters at a time. They never do that with any kind of books anymore. 99% of what I'm reading in the next 3 months is coming off of your bookshelves. Good for you. Good for you. I read off of my bookshelves, I read from the library, and I continue to buy more books. Oh, nice, Ashley. That's a good combination. I have Calamity on my list for October, so hey, Krista. Welcome here to this random Monday night reading sprints. I had a goal for myself that I made to try doing reading sprints for the rest, once a month for the rest of the year. And then I realized, oh, it's like the end of the month. So I decided to do it today. So I have a question. Let's talk about reading slumps. First question I want to tackle is, what do you do when you're in a reading slump? What do you find works for you? Very curious. I think it's going to be different for different people and sometimes different for different seasons. But I'm curious to know what works for people when they're in a reading slump. We talked about this a little bit on my Patreon book club on the weekend, but not a lot. We were mostly just sharing about good books. And I was getting really excited about every single book that they mentioned. Maybe none of you ever get in a reading slump. If you've never been in a reading slump, I'd like to hear from you too, because I don't know if there's people out there like that. If I'm in a reading slump and nothing on my TBR looks interesting, I'll reread a favorite. I like that idea. I'm not a huge rereader. I've been thinking about this lately, actually, because my daughter is. She will reread the same book like multiple times in a month if she's really liking it. And I have a few books I want to reread, but for whatever reason, I'm not getting to them. And I don't know if it's a booktube thing, and I feel like, well, I need to be reading new books to share, or am I really like not that interested in rereading? But I've already decided the last half of December, my plan is just to reread a bunch of books. So I'm going to give that a try. Either a fast-paced book or middle grade, since yes, middle grade does require less brain power. I saw that here too, a quick middle grade. Yeah, that can work. A novella or graphic novel. Yeah, and when I was reading, I think it was like this summer, between every novel I would read, I was reading a graphic novel or a manga because I had so many manga from the library that I wanted to get through. And I didn't get into reading slumps then. I wonder if that helped. It was like a palate cleanser, because I don't like to read 2 books from the same genre in a row either. So if I wanted to read 2 mystery, then I could read a mystery and then a manga and then another mystery right away. So I don't know if it was helpful that way or if it was just helpful because they were fast. A thriller, yeah. See, I like a fast-paced mystery suspense can really help, but sometimes it's hard to know if it's going to be a good one. Yeah, Tia, I feel like you are the queen of the manga for sure. I can't even keep up with you. I went and requested a bunch of like your favorites and then read a few, and then they all had to go back to the library because I didn't get to them all. Read your Bible in a reading slump, listening to an audiobook, reading a comfort read. Yeah, see, for me, like I'm thinking like a fiction reading slump. Nonfiction is very different for me. So like the Bible, like that seems to use a different part of my brain. Like I'm always reading my Bible like every day, but it doesn't really, I don't know, have to do with reading slumps maybe? I don't know. Listening to an audiobook, I feel like I go in seasons with audiobooks too. Like sometimes I'll do a bunch and then I don't think I've listened to a single audiobook in the last month at least. Shorter by a favorite author, yeah. Something in a series or by an author I liked, yeah. Just need it. Yeah, right. Lindsay really needs a nice, fluffy, happy, kind of predictable, just easy suggestion. If anyone has a really good suggestion for her, one of those books where things are going wrong in your life and you just want a escape book. That's she needs that kind of suggestion. Krista, you rarely feel slumpy. Oh, here we go. See, how do we get into this? Have a couple books going at a time. When I finish one book, I'm already into another and just keep going. Yeah, that's how I used to be, but I would still get in reading slumps, or I would like pick up a book, read a few chapters, but realize I'm not really into this, so I set it aside, pick up another one, but I'm still like kind of reading that one, but then I just kind of end up not reading that one. I don't know. Not a rereader. Grab one of my favorites and reread it. I like how it's like, not a rereader, I'm a rereader. Everyone is just different. Oh, where did this go? Ask friends about they've like or start a series. Yeah, BookTube can help. Yeah. Yes. And like that's very much what my book club was doing on Saturday. Every book they were suggesting, I was just like writing it down and then afterwards went to the library website, requested all the books. Hearing people talk about books that they enjoy definitely helps. Okay, you never thought about reading slumps until you started watching BookTube. Is it because you never had reading slumps or you just hadn't thought about it? Because I definitely wouldn't have had the like terminology for it prior to BookTube, but I definitely had reading slumps. Like I didn't read for a number of years after university because it just killed my love of reading, and I would call that one huge reading slump. Middle grade, short nonfiction, humor essays, graphic novels. Yeah, I wonder. You're talking about like short nonfiction. I'm even thinking like, what about like short stories? I don't tend to gravitate to those when I'm in a reading slump, but that might be a good idea too. Reorganize my shelves in a different way. Oh, that's a really cool idea. I have gotten stuck in the like organizing my books by genre. And I just saw, was it on Instagram? Yeah, it was on Instagram that Tia just did her books by color again. And this is making me think maybe I should organize my TBR shelf by color instead of my bookshelves upstairs because that's a little daunting. There's a lot of books up there. These are currently by genre, but if I organize them by color, maybe that would like spark something different. She recommends The Littlest Library for an easy, fluffy, cozy read for a slump. So, Lindsay, maybe that would be a good book for you. I definitely have heard of this. Oh, is this the one Is this one set in like England, and it's got like the red telephone booth is the library? It looks cute on the outside if I'm thinking the right one. And the Mitford series, great comfort read that's more character driven. So this is one book that I started a little while ago, actually. Last week or the week before, I started like 4 or 5 books, and I only read like 10 pages. And I just realized, yes, I need to read one book at a time. So that would be a good one to try. Yeah, can keep suggesting light books for Lindsay. That'd be good too. Thrillers, yeah, like the fast-pacedness. I just find it hard to know if a thriller is going to be good. Like I feel like they're either really hit or miss for me. But when they're good, then I just want to keep devouring books afterwards. TBR videos, yeah. Yeah, oh good. I'm glad that did that for you too. I definitely requested both of the books that you shared. Actually, I really wanted to read, okay, the one that you shared was a middle grade murder mystery with animals, Shady Hollow, I think it was called. My library like doesn't have any in stock, and I think they only have ebooks, but there's like a huge wait. And now I'm like, do I have to buy this book? We'll see. Yeah, okay, so the Littlest Library is the one with the red telephone booth library. That's cool. I would love to get my hands on one of those and put one of those in my front yard or something. Oh, you've tried the Mitford series. Okay, yeah, I read 10 pages, so I can't really say a whole lot. I definitely didn't. I don't know if the character that it starts with is the main character, if there's multiple. It starts out with like, I don't know what his exact terminology is. He's the priest or something of the village or town, and that's definitely not what I was expecting with the series when I started it. But I don't know, not very far. Didn't start reading one book after another until BookTube. Here and there, reader. Yeah, that does make sense. I'm trying to think of my like pre-BookTube days. Generally, it's kind of the same thing. Depending if I had a bunch of books I wanted to read or not. Prior to BookTube, I didn't know how to find good books because you only ever hear about the popular ones, and I don't know, those just never really seem to work for me. Okay. If you guys want to keep sharing book reading slump ideas, how to get out of them, continue to do so. If you have book suggestions for if a person is in a reading slump, like specific book suggestions, leave those in the comments. And I was trying to think of some. I did share some on my Patreon after our book club. And now, of course, I don't remember any of them. Okay, this is about the Mitford series. Father Tim is the main character. They're all from his point of view. Okay, it stays in his voice. See, and like, I mean, I was enjoying the little bit that I started, but I was going into it thinking that it would be a female. So it's just mentally different. That's just got to get my like head wrapped around that. Now I will try to think of some like reading slump suggestions. Okay, so when we were talking about like the idea of like thriller suspense, the series by Terry Blackstock, the trilogy, If I Run, If I Am Found, If I Live, that series, I flew through that like entire series really, really fast. So if you like more of the thriller suspense and you want something fast to read, I would suggest that one. Go to the library with no preconceived notions and just browse and pick something that draws me in. That is really cool. My local library is oddly in a middle school. So their selection is of books that I'm interested in is not very big. Maybe I just need to go browse some other libraries. That'd be cool. I usually, because my library isn't very good, I just request all the books, put them on hold, and then go pick them up. But maybe if I spend some time perusing, that would be a good idea. Oh, Extremely Inconvenient Adventures of Bronte Meadowstone. Yes. And then Shady Hollow. Yeah, okay. So the Extremely Inconvenient Adventures of Bronte Meadowstone is like a middle grade fantasy. The audiobook was really good. I enjoyed that one. And Shady Hollow, yeah. You made it sound so cute on the weekend. It's a murder mystery with woodland creatures. But I need to find a way to get my hands on it. Favorite books of all times, very cozy and happy. The Story People. I feel like I've heard of this author, but this is not ringing any bells. I'm gonna have to look this up. I should be taking notes or something. I need a notebook. I'm gonna write this one down. The Story People by Heather. I'm gonna look this one up afterwards. I am going book shopping later this week, and I'm thinking maybe that will be one of the ones I see if I can find. But I don't know. Yeah, I think my library, they're all just ebooks or the audiobooks, which is great. I like that, but I also want to have the physical copy. Yeah, Shady Hollow, I could feel like, I mean, it is murder mystery, but if it's animals, it might work well for a hard season of life. Okay, I've heard nothing but good things about this book. I'm pretty sure, yeah, like lots of people have read this one. It's one of those ones that, in my opinion, has kind of like that stereotypical Christian historical fiction cover that it makes me a little hesitant to read because I so judge books by the cover. But I've only heard really good things. I'm trying to think of some other light books. A fast read, if a person wants a fast read, is 84 Charing Cross Road. It doesn't have a like perfect ending. It's a non-fiction story of letters between an American woman and an English man, like non-romantic letters. She's just looking for books from his bookstore. But it's really fast and she's very witty. So that is a really good one for a reading slump, I think, too. Narrowing down my current TBR stack helps me with reading slumps sometimes. Oh, yeah, that would help. Random question. Did you color your hair? No, I did not. It might just be the lighting. I haven't dyed my hair for quite some time. The sun has turned it quite red this summer, depending on the lighting, plus all the grays. But no, my eyebrows are just like so much darker than my actual hair color. Have you read Measuring Up? No, I don't think so. This doesn't sound familiar. Sometimes I'm not very good with titles. I'll look it up on Goodreads. Measuring Up. Oh, it's like a baking one here, I'm assuming. It looks cute. I'll have to check that one out. The Summer Cottage. So many books I've never heard of. I'm going to have to like go back afterwards, I think, because I can't write all of these titles down. I'll go back afterwards and look all of these up. Cece's Journal is your favorite middle grade graphic novel, Krista? That's cool. I really enjoyed the art style. I did not enjoy the girl constantly lying to her mother. But oh, my son, I am getting my son to read this book right now. He's actually almost done it, but I've never read it. He seems to be enjoying it though. Sounds fun. While I have my phone here, you guys can go ahead and keep suggesting books or ideas for reading slumps if you're in one. We'll have to do a couple more minutes here. And then we will do another set of reading sprints here. On Instagram, I had a couple questions. One was, have you ever inspired a friend or family member to start a channel or bookish account? And I don't think so, actually. I was inspired by Holly, Lovely Day with Holly. Her and I were friends in elementary school and are friends now too, but I mean, we've known each other for a long time, and I saw her booktube channel, and that's what got me inspired. But I don't think that I've inspired anybody, which is okay. And then there was another one that was, where is your favorite place to read? And that is honestly just on my couch. We have like an article sofa that we got last year, and I am completely smitten with it. I have like a spot. It's wider than the typical couch, like depth wise. So if you sit really far back, you feel like a little kid, like your legs are like hanging, but it's like enough room to do any kind of position while you're reading your book. It's perfect. Yes. Okay, so this is I read a Christmas mystery in this series 2 years ago, maybe. Candy cane something or other, because the main character has a bakery or is a baker. I remember a little bit about that one. Beneath a Southern Sky. So there's an emotional book recommendation. Yeah, exactly the opposite of what we asked for, but that's okay. Sometimes those are good too. Actually, I like a book to make me cry. I'm not sure I like to know it's going to make me cry, because then I tend to avoid it. I feel like Beneath a Southern Sky. I gotta look this one up because I think I know this book, but I need to see the cover. Oh, is it Southern or is it Scarlet? I'm thinking Beneath a Scarlet Sky. That's what I'm thinking of. Is that the one you're talking about? No, Louise. Okay. Well, I'm glad you have started to think about it, and now I will push you to do it. Don't be a chicken. This is a great time to start. You will start in October. You will start your channel, and you will tell us about your 30 books in 30 days. Whether or not you get to all 30, I want to know like an in-depth recap of your month. So I fully expect that to be live in about a week. Thank you very much. We need more Canadian booktubers. Oh, see another one. Okay, yes, do it. Okay. Okay, that is fair. You can wait till preschool. I have some people I will push. Oh, more people. This is good. This is good. I like all these people starting to think about it. Yeah, like I won't lie, it does take time. And it does take time away from reading. But I have really enjoyed the community. It has made my reading more enjoyable. And I thought that I didn't really like to talk about books. I thought that's why I didn't like really reading books in school, because I thought I didn't want to talk about them after I read them. So I didn't think I would want to start a channel, but it turns out I do. I just want to do it on my own terms, not a teacher's terms. So you guys all need to start them. Oh, okay. Okay, so it was a different one. Okay, so I'll have to look that one up. Adding military history to my list of books to read helps cleanse my mind of all the fiction I read. Okay, I can't say I would probably be in the same boat as you. That's really cool, though. Military history, it would be very informative. Yes, absolutely, 100% positive peer pressure. Exactly. Come on, Louise. Yeah, I apparently. When did you stop your homeschool channel? Was it like just before I came on BookTube? Because I never saw your channel, which is too bad. It's like I love talking in the comments with people that have channels or not, but it's definitely different when you've been able to see them on a video and then they become a little bit more of a real person. I just use Filmora. It's like $80 or so. Pretty cheap, really easy to work with. Like I have access to more expensive things, but they just like the learning curve, I'm not willing to invest the time to do it. So I just stick with super easy. Yeah, I get that, Charlene. I really do. I feel like our 2, 3, and 4-year-old left in this last, what's been a week and a half now, and I feel like, well, yeah, now I have so much time. So I get that. But you know what, too? If you were to start a channel, it doesn't. You could just do like one video a month or something. You know, you don't have to have a video every week or anything. The video editing process, well, I don't know. I don't do much, so maybe I can do a very easy tutorial. It wouldn't take very long at all. Okay, wow. So you did just quit your homeschool channel like right. I think December will be 3 years that I've been on BookTube, so. Okay, I'm gonna write that down later. I'll come back later. Maybe get that for like my husband. He loves that kind of stuff. Well, there's definitely some peer pressure going. Bought Shady Hollow. I hope it's adorable. It sounds like it. Okay, it'll be super easy, ladies. I can show you what I do. It won't be hard. Promise. And I started like recording on my phone. Super simple. It's easier to record on a camera, but I mean, you don't have to like put anything into it. Oh, that's cool. Do I still have that one? Okay. Was that the Justice game, right? It's on my stack of books that I want to get rid of because it's like a lawyer book, and I don't enjoy reading books about lawyers. And I was going through my books and I pulled a few off of my shelves that I wasn't very interested in. I did think that one was part of a Patreon video that I did in September. And I decided I wasn't really interested. Okay, so everybody is here that's here is now buying this Shady Hollow series. Okay, I'm totally looking forward to the bookstore later this week. Okay, cons of BookTube. Pressure to read, kind of, but I feel like this was partly why I don't do buddy reads very often, because then there's that pressure you have. Well, I mean, people often don't actually finish a book, but you do feel like you have some pressure to read because you want to be able to talk about books, obviously, because that's kind of the whole point. It takes time away from reading. Negative comments, there's not much, at least not in my world. If there is, often it's like, well, this is a spam comment because this kind of makes no sense. There's been a few, I've had like a few random ones, like, you talk too fast and random stuff like that. I just delete them because if they want to leave negative comments, they can go somewhere else. So, yeah. Dystopian, Hunger Games. Yes, I read that many years ago. I don't really remember books 2 and 3, but I remember book 1. Oh, Krista bought. See, everyone's buying Shady Hollow. Man, maybe I can't even wait until later in the week. Maybe I need to buy it tonight. Okay. Maybe we should try another reading sprint, or do we just... There's peer pressure in the comments. Tia, you're being told. It looks really cute. Does Shady Hollow have illustrations throughout? I don't know if we... It has the cast of characters in the beginning, but they weren't pictures, right? Is there pictures? I can't remember if we talked about that on the weekend or not. I'll find out the answer to this question, and then I will. Oh, Amy's not giving in to peer pressure, guys. I want to see the physical copy at a bookstore. Maybe I should look ahead and see if the bookstore has it. The only picture is a map of a town in the front of the book. Okay. In my mind, I feel like, though, I mean, like, you don't want like murder scene pictures, but with all the woodland creatures, some pictures would be kind of nice. Yes, the cover is adorable, for sure. For sure. Okay. I'm going to keep reading. This book is really fast to read. There's really big words, and I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of just constantly flipping pages. I'm on page 66. And in the middle of chapter 5, just started chapter 5. So we're going to read till 00, which will be 8 o'clock p.m. for me. And then we'll go from there. If you guys have more questions about booktube stuff, and if you other booktubers want to join in and like share cons or things, go ahead. I'm curious. Go ahead and ask questions. I'm going to read for 16 minutes, and then I'll come chat again. Okay, I'm feeling a little left out here. Everybody went and grabbed some snacks. Cinnamon rolls. Sounds good. Actually, I have trifle upstairs that I'm going to go have after this because my daughter had her birthday party today, so that's what we had. Chantal made me do it. Booktube channel. Amy, I'm so glad you did. So I got to page 90 in my book. It's such a sweet story. Really enjoying that. How did everybody else's reading go? Yeah, I thought about having it here, but I'm a little klutzy, so I probably just would have got it all over myself. So I'll save it for after. I most definitely went to New York Fries the other day and got the chili cheese fries all over my pants. Can't even blame it on any kids. It was just all me. So I had to walk around the mall like that for a while afterwards. So that's fun. Good job. Then that's in the Thursday Murder Club, I think. That's what you were reading. That works out well. 1 chapter per sprint. I started it in the middle of a chapter, so I kind of keep ending up in the middle of the chapter. Maybe if I'd started at the beginning, probably would have been about a chapter a time. Two and a half chapters of Calamity. So curious to see how he's going to end that series. For sure. I wonder if it's going to follow the not much happens, everything happens at the end that the other two books did. Oh wow, 28 to 45 pages. That's good. Yeah, isn't that true? I would always way rather chapters be broken up into short chapters, even if it's exactly the same number of pages. It just feels better when they're shorter chapters. Not the only one. Chapters should be like 10 pages maximum. I love it when you get a book and it's like, oh, that chapter was 2 pages. And you just feel like you're flying, even though you still have to read all the words. Seems to be a little bit of a trend here. Anyone want to break the mold and say they like longer chapters? So the book is under 300 pages, but chapters are 20 to 30 pages each. Oh, no, that's not. This is where like editors, publishers, somebody in there somewhere should say something. Inheritance Games. I listened to that one on audio, so I didn't notice as much how short the chapters were. That's cool. I like, yeah, short chapters. That's where it's at. Shorter chapters do make the book seem faster, but if I'm really sucked into a book, I don't really care how long the chapters are. Absolutely. I totally agree with you. But I feel like somehow, if I'm physically turning pages faster, like if there's chapters, so then you have to like go to the next page faster, then I get into the groove and then I can read faster. It might all just be in my head. Yeah, I stop in the middle of the chapter all the time, but I still want to read. I still want the books to have short chapters. It's probably weird, but I grew up like with a really long bus ride to school. It was like an hour in the morning, an hour in the afternoon, and I never even used a bookmark. I would just stop in the middle of a chapter whenever I got to school, stop in the middle of a paragraph, close the book, find my spot on the way home. So I have no problem stopping anywhere. Oh, you have to stop at the top of the page. I prefer to do that now, but it doesn't always work out. So. Family shoes are the Bell family. How many shoe books is there? I think this one has a list. Ballet, skating, dancing, theater, movie, circus. And then you have family shoes, so that's not even listed here. Yikes, there's lots of them. 10 chapters in a 300-page book. Ooh. Yeah, that's too bad. I know my husband's very much that way too. He has to finish a chapter, for sure. What Agatha Christie book would you recommend for a first-time Agatha Christie reader? Okay, we'll get to the plants in a minute. Okay. One of my top favorites for sure is still The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. And a murder is announced. Those are kind of like more traditional whodunit mysteries. And then there was None is good too, but there's more characters in that one. So I would recommend The Murder of Roger Ackroyd or A Murder is Announced to start. Okay, what plants? Okay, this is so backwards for me. What have I got here? That way, that big one, tall one there is a money tree. So it started out like that big. And then I've got snake plants. So the one in the brown is a snake plant. And there's another snake plant underneath the money tree. I can't do this. This is so backwards. That's a snake plant. And then I've got an aloe plant. I'm not used to this. My camera is not mirrored, but this mirrors it for whatever reason. And then I have more plants over here, but that's all that you can see over there. Inconsistent chapter length. Yes, that also bothers me. Like, I want to know what I'm getting into, for sure. I cannot ever end on an odd numbered page. It must be an even numbered page. Okay, so like, is it because, now I have to look here. Is it because the odd page is on the right-hand side and like, because I do now, I tend to want to start, like if I'm going to stop, I try to stop at like this paragraph, the top paragraph, the next one to start. Is that why it's the odd number page, or is it actually like the number that bothers you? This is interesting. How do you stay on top of series reading? I don't know if I do. I mean, if it's like a trilogy or something short, it's pretty easy. Like generally try to do one a month then. But like I'm still reading the Anna Green Gables series, and I started that like 2 years ago and still have the last book left. So I don't know. It depends. It depends if you start it and there are already 20 books out. Like the Maisie Dobbs series. I think there's 19 books out. I'm just reading like one every few months. But I don't know. I don't like to read a series, too many books in a series too close together though either, because I don't like the books to all blend together, and they do if I read them too close together. Tennis shoes. Okay, and I said this earlier, I can't remember the difference between ballet shoes and dancing shoes. Maybe it is ballet shoes I've read. This one is super easy. Like I think it was written in the 50s. That's what this edition says, 51. But it's very easy reading, middle grade. There's no like some middle grade books set in the past or that were written in the past have like vocabulary that's just harder to read. It's not like that at all. This is really, really, really fast and easy, pretty light. I'm enjoying it. I'm trying to remember what the title is. Behind Closed Doors. I read that right around the same time, I think, as No Exit a couple years ago. And I enjoyed that one. I don't read a whole lot of like straight up thrillers. I quite enjoyed the one at the beginning of the year. Tia, for her book club, we read Rock, Paper, Scissors. That one was pretty cool. And like, if you read that one, then go back and watch the book club for that, because there was some really good discussion on that one, because there's some twists I didn't see coming, and I enjoyed that. Okay, you enjoyed Ballet Shoes. Theater Shoes mentions characters from Ballet Shoes. This is so confusing. Yeah, okay, so I think Ballet Shoes is like the three sisters, and they're like, they all have like names that start with P, maybe, and their uncle was like some kind of something. What was he? I don't know. He dug for treasures or something. I don't remember the details. This is all very fuzzy. So the number of pages it gets under your skin. I cannot stand odd numbers on the TV volume either. Oh, okay. Well, that's a little quirky, but we all have our quirks. Interesting. Sometimes I prefer odd numbers to even numbers. This year, my age is an even number, but I keep thinking I'm a year older than I am, and I'm realizing that I often just gravitate towards the odd numbers. So I'm just going to be the odd number for 2 years, and then the next year I'll just age 2 years again or something. That way I only have to think of my age every other year. For series, I pick up 2 or 3 to finish by the end of the year and read a book a month. Oh, that's a good idea. That would be a good idea if I like pre-planned my reading more instead of just being a little bit more mood reading. Yes, that is Ballet Shoes. Okay. I have the general idea. And we watched the movie after we listened to the audiobook together as a family. But yeah. Then we listened to it. Okay. What do you love about Jesus Christ? Wow. We do not have enough time for that. Pretty much how he saves me from everything. And I am not a perfect person, but because of him, I am seen as perfect in God's eyes. It's crazy to think of. Okay. I told my kids who are upstairs that I was probably going to be done like 15 minutes ago. So if there's any last minute stuff, send it out now. And then we will wrap this up. One by one. Yeah, I read that one in the winter. I'm trying to remember which one that was. Yes. So we got the French Mountain, and that was the one that had like Snoop, right? Like the social media app thing. I'm pretty sure that's the one. I did not love it, but it kept me on my toes. So that one might be a one to recommend, yeah, because of No Exit. I'm glad you've liked them. I definitely took some time off of reading Christian fiction for a while because it all felt exactly the same. But thankfully, in the last few years, there's been some really good ones coming out. Okay, well, thank you so much, everybody, for coming out. Those of you that stuck around, I know some people went to bed. It's 8:15 here, but I get the benefit of kind of being in the middle of North America, time zone-wise, so that works for me. I'm hoping to do this like once a month-ish. It might just be just as last minute as it was this time. So it's nice to know that even if it is last minute, a bunch of people are willing to come. So hope you guys got some good reading in. I'm going to check on my kids, grab some trifle, and then keep reading, I think, this evening. See how much of this I can get done. So thank you so much for being here, guys. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your night.